So now, if I can call on Keris Manzi to come up here. Keris Manzi is a project lead at Impact Hub Kigali, where he delivers various projects that include trainings for young and aspiring entrepreneurs, leveraging human-centered design methodologies to enable them to come up with innovative solutions that have impact on the society. So he will be facilitating this session. Over to you, Manzi.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Good afternoon. In this next session, like the MC just told you briefly, we're going to hear from contestants that are participating in the Lake Kivu Challenge, which is a first-of-its-kind technology challenge for competition for cargo and mapping drones in Africa. The challenge is structured into 3 competitions and has attracted the best teams from around the world to showcase their drone technology. The 3 competitions are emergency delivery, sample pickup, and find and assess. We have here today a total of 10 teams under the 3 competitions. And I know what everyone is thinking. We're going to see drones flying around in the auditorium. Wouldn't that be very cool? But we're going to give you the best next thing. The teams are going to tell you about their companies, journeys, technology, and impact in an Ignite Talk format. Ignite Talks, for those of you who may not have heard of what they are series of presentations that are a little more fun, exciting, and a lot more challenging than your typical presentations. Each speaker will have a total of 5 minutes to tell their story in using 20 slides. And for those of you who can do quick math, that means every slide will be on the screen for 15 seconds. And it's going to advance automatically. And as you can tell, 15 seconds is very short. And probably by the time I finish this sentence, 15 seconds will already have gone by, which means it's going to be very challenging for the speakers. And that's why I invite you to be very supportive if everything doesn't go smoothly. Now, without further ado, I would like to invite to the stage teams that are participating in the emergency delivery competition. Patrick Zaman, founder of AV. Dr. Klaus Scholl, CEO of GermanDrones. You can already give them a round of applause if you so wish. Tom Plumer, CEO of Wingcopter. I would also like to invite to the stage Denise Soesilo, ADF Industry Relations Consultant at the World Bank, and John T. Slater, Challenge Design and Management Consultant at IMC. And these 2 are going to stay on the stage for a little bit longer than the teams because they've been working in the background for this Lake Kivu Challenge. So we're going to ask them a few questions. And now the moment that we've been waiting for the next 15 minutes, before they present, actually I would like to show you a video introducing the emergency delivery competition.
In the emergency delivery competition, teams must deliver an emergency package from a drone port in Karongi to Bugarura Island, a distance of 20 kilometers, then return and safely land at the point of origin. No battery swap is allowed at the drop-off location. The team that completes the delivery in the most user-friendly and safe manner within the available time will be the competition winner. Join us at the African Drone Forum in Rwanda in February 2020. Are you up for the challenge?
Now, for the next 15 minutes, the 3 speakers will give their talks, of course, in the Ignite Talk format that I mentioned, and we'll have a round of questions for the other panelists. Please go ahead, first speaker, AV.
So 2 years of my life I lived in Ghana in a very small village working for an NGO with young people, and actually they teach me a lot. It was a great experience and I started to love the continent. I also had a bad experience during that time when a woman in my neighborhood lost her child overnight. It's still stuck in my head. So she lost her child due to the lack of treatment I don't know. Normally there should be some film now. So she lost the child, and I think she could have been saved. So back home, I thought, what can we do? Can there be some technology which can bring treatment faster to people? And I was lucky. I found a friend, Jonathan, and Jonathan is a very good engineer. I'm not an engineer, but I was hoping to create some solution. And this is actually what we created together in the sense that we thought drones can really solve it. And as you could see, the rotors are tilting. This is a very interesting technology I will talk more about. But we created this VTOL drone called Wingcopter because we think this drone really can solve last mile problems in the health logistics. So we built this first model with our own, we borrowed money from our family and friends, and that was the first Wingcopter we ever created. And before I go into detail what we did with this, and that we actually really wanted to and work on solving this logistical problem for healthcare, I want to tell you a little bit about the tech specs. So looking at the drone, it can fly very fast, up to 240 kilometers per hour. It can fly 100-kilometer range, and it's actually very lightweight and modular also. It fits in a small box. So as you can see, you can carry it anywhere. You can set it up easily, which you will see soon. I put in another video where you can see how it's set up so easily. Actually, you can just really put it together in 5 minutes. It just needs 2 screws, and the flight planning software is very simple. So you can basically use a tablet and pre-program the path, and then it takes off on its own. It does the transition of the rotors, which is basically a core innovation. These tilting rotors you saw at the beginning. So when we created this basically simple to use and very efficient drone, DHL approached us and said, we want to use this drone for delivery. And actually this was first dream was to create a technology which can solve delivery problems. Second thing was going into medical deliveries. So that's the benefit again of the drone. You can take off vertically and then it flies like a fixed wing system on a very long range. But looking at the application, what I mentioned before, what we wanted to solve the problem of delivering vaccines, blood, medicals. And we actually did this with DHL in the first project for 6 months in Tanzania. So we delivered, as you can see here, lab samples on the hospital rooftop, and so the analytics for the patients could be much faster. And on the way back, we transported 65 kilometer to an island in Lake Victoria, medicals, to deliver them on the island on demand. And now we start scaling these ideas because we proved it works. We reduce waiting times for patients. We can transport things faster, and also in future we work on transporting it also cheaper. So making it really feasible that drone delivery can scale to build up big networks. And one thing to make it faster and cheaper is to also drop the payload very accurate. So we invented this winch mechanism as well, where you can drop a payload and you can precisely locate it, and then it's lowered down by a lower mechanism, very safe. So this, in this sense, we started to we were supported by UNICEF here in Vanuatu, where Dominic, for example, walked 7 hours to a village to reach, in this kind of environment, to reach his patients, which are actually children getting their vaccines. And so we brought our drone to Vanuatu with the help of UNICEF and the health ministry of Vanuatu, and we proved that it makes sense to on-demand deliver vaccines. Instead of walking 7 hours, we needed a few minutes to deliver these vaccines to the same villages, and no one needed to walk anymore. And then Merck came in, which is also a great step for us, because then we got some first bigger funding. So Merck helped us, a big pharma company from Germany, provided us with office space and some accelerator funding, so we could even started to do it in a bigger scale. We came, for example, lately to Europe, where we did the first European delivery with a Wingcopter, plus the world first insulin delivery, where, as you can see, on a 21 kilometer range we delivered. And as I spoke in the beginning about children, and they inspired me, I want to really give back. So with Wingcopter, the idea is not to do military drones at all. We want to do social drones to impact the life of people, to save life, and we want to also educate people, teaching them how to use drones and to create a future together we wish for. So this is my mission here, why I'm here, and I hope we can talk. I'm here for the next couple of days until the challenge ends, and I would love that we create the future together. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Klaus Schoh. I'm the CEO of GermanDrones, and I'm very proud to be here in Africa for the African Drone Forum and to be a part of the challenge in Lake Kivu. And we are very happy. It's the first time for me here in Africa. It's very inspiring. We are here with a team. It's me. It's also my technical team with Maximilian Lajaka, Mikolaj Kruszewski, and also Julius, pilots and senior system engineers here. GermanDrones develops successful VTOLs, including mission planning software. This is what we're doing. We industrialized the first prototypes to a real product with a very high level of security here. And we started around 4 years ago. The last 2 years, we call it a startup phase. Since last year our product is available, and this year we start with our growth phase with a commercial one. We call it Songbird 3.3. Why vertical takeoff and landing? Compared with copters, we have much longer flight time. We can fly much longer distances compared with other fixed wings. We do not need a runway. We do not need infrastructures. Why UAVs? That's what we're talking about the whole day here. We think it's very important to do the future work in several parts of the world because it reduces costs. Why VTOL? VTOL are much more range than copters. We have much more flight times, and as I told you before, we need no infrastructure. We can operate in different terrains. The VTOL market will grow in the next 10 years more than 20% a year, and it will be a billion-dollar market, and we will be part of it with our products. Yes. Our product is called Songbird. It has 4 tilt motors. It's about 3 meters wingspan. We have up to 14 kilograms total mass, up to 3.5 kilograms payload. We can fly up to 3 hours. It's made in Germany. It's very flexible with a high level of security. You can set it up in less than 10 minutes, completely toolless, and it fits in this box that you see here. We also make software with our GermanDrones control station. It's our own development with a lot of safety function implemented of ADS-B or FLAM and also geofencing. And you can use it, that's very important, as a training system for your pilots. We've done a lot of proof of concepts in Austria for power grid company. In Sweden it was medical equipment like this one doing here, to go to islands. Also in Germany, we will flies for power rails. A lot of proof of values in Great Britain, also in Belgium for railway companies, and also in Jordan for monitoring, surveying in the desert and also in the mountain under very hard conditions. Our focus is not transport, it's more security and safety. It's also surveying, inspection of critical infrastructures like power grids, railways, waters. Also, but we are here so we can do it with the transport as well. Our core competences are industrial UAV. Not buying, not making prototypes, real industrial systems, professional mission planning software as well. And the things that we do next is go from automatic flying to completely autonomous. That means integration in UTM systems and also sense and avoid that the drone makes their own right decisions to fly safely back. On the hardware side, we will build a hangar system, 24/7 hours availability, remote controlled, completely automatic. And also we have a Songbird XL, 25 kilograms and up to 8 hours flight time. The GermanDrones vision, first of all, it's quality. We are going for an ISO 9100 and EASA certification. It's reliability, and we will responsibility for our complete systems. Once again, our product, 2 models. It's one with 10 kilograms, 2 kilograms payload, and another one 40 kilograms on 3.5, and flight times up to 3 hours under very good conditions. Yes, thank you again, and I'm very happy to be here to see such a big great audience, and thank you.
So in 2017, 6.3 million children died. And the worst part of this is that it's actually due to very preventable causes. The main reason is actually the lack of access to proper healthcare. Healthcare like clean water, vaccines, and medicine. And it's a part of the far distance, also the very limited infrastructure. Heavy rains, storms, and floodings can wipe away roads, and that way blocking the access to proper health care. The situation is only getting worse, way worse. It's predicted that by the end of this century, rain will have been increased by 50%. And also, we have harsh conditions. And the harsh conditions especially influence the cold chain. And the cold chain means that we want to be able to deliver medicine in between 2 and 7 degrees Celsius. So that you know that around 20% of all the temperature-sensitive medicines are being lost, damaged, or broken because they couldn't not maintain the cold chain. It's a really bad situation, and we need to find a way out. So I'm an optimist, and I like to look up, and I actually think that the answer lies above us. Today I'm not here as an ambassador for AV, but I'd like to be an ambassador for the skies. I believe the way out is the way up. And I actually think it's time for an aerial revolution. The air offers a huge potential. It's open, free, and doesn't have any limiting factors. So if we work together, all of you here, to unlock the sky and really start using the sky for the fastest and most reliable way for delivering medicine, we can help these children. To do so and to make the technology more accessible and feasible, we had to come up with really plug-and-play technology. So our aircraft doesn't require any infrastructure, no catapults, nothing. We land remotely because we believe that the payload, the medicines, is very fragile. And also we make the operations very easy. So the very complex regulations we try to make as easy as possible. So we can start projects, new projects, as fast as ever. But these complex things, how do you handle that? Here in Africa, I learned the saying, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is, bite by bite. And that inspired us in our way of working. Because it actually taught us, I not want to encourage you to eat any elephants, by the way, I'm vegetarian, but this is how we work. For example, flying beyond visual line of sight in Europe, a very complex task, but by starting in very small steps, we were able to do so. And by being able to fly beyond visual line of sight in Europe, we could partner up with medical drone services, Europe-wide, to deliver blood and medicine from hospital to hospital, but also from hospital to decentralized locations, for example, in case of incidents. We partnered also with research institutes, blood banks, and the National Post to improve the payload boxes so we can keep these medicine always temperature controlled. So that's not where we stopped. We went on. We built AV in a modular way. So it takes only seconds to change the payload box for different applications. For example, wildlife conservation or disaster help. I'm a man on a mission, but luckily I'm not alone. Together with the whole team, we're here to pioneer innovative aviation technology for one sole mission, to save lives. And in our recent experience, the last couple of years here in Africa, we learned that it's not as easy as a simple technology handover. That doesn't work. We are here to build solutions that are here to stay. So what we do is we partner. We partner up with local organizations to work together, to build local capacity, train, and share knowledge. So together, we work to save these lives of these children that are so desperately in need. Thank you very much.
Thank you to the teams. As we saw in the video, in this emergency delivery competition, teams will be delivering an emergency package that weighs a minimum of 1 kilogram. I would like to extend a question to you, Jonty. How do you balance judging drones that can carry 10 kilograms of equipment against drones that can carry only 1 kilogram? And how do you balance that, but give them both an equal chance of winning?
So when we designed the competition, we didn't know who was going to enter it. So we had to come up with some broad set of rules that then we've been able to work through with each of the teams and work together. But we've been looking at it in terms of the speed, the payload delivery, how materials they'll be using to store the payloads. The payloads they're going to be using in the emergency delivery are blood banks, blood pags. So we're trying to mimic what is being delivered at the moment, what is being used around the world. So they're using the same materials, the same requirements. They're able to have to keep it cool. And we're looking at the weight, the speed, and a number of other components so that overall everybody can be treated fairly. That's the aim of every competition you should run, fair competition.
Thank you, Jonty. Before we go on to the next stage, I would like to invite Rosa. Rosa, I'd like to invite you to give gift bags to the teams before we go on to the next category.
Yeah, you guys are coming.
Thank you so much to teams. You can now exit the stage. I would like to invite to the stage the teams that are participating in the sample pickup competition. Mark Schwarzbach, CTO and MD Phoenix Wings. Nicolas Marie Hernandez, CMO Venturi UTech. And Hanan Parvizian, CEO Volans-i. We would like now to show you a short video introducing the sample pickup competition.
In the sample collection competition, teams must pick up as many package modules as possible from Bugarura Island and return them to Karongi in a set time frame. Several packages may be carried at one time. The team that safely transports the most samples within the allocated time will be judged the competition winner. Join us at the African Drone Forum in Rwanda in February 2020. Are you up for the challenge?
Like the speakers before them, like the teams before them, we're going to do the same format. Please take the floor, teams.
Hold it, I'ma be right by ya. I'ma be right by ya.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are Phoenix Wings, a young company from Munich in Germany, the center of aerospace in Europe, basically. And we mainly design, manufacture, and operate cargo drones. So the drone you can actually see in the drone garden, and we have an international team of which you see part here in the picture after a quite successful flight test. And we didn't come from zero. So our big partner and mother company is SF Express in China, a big logistics company which also works and operates drones. And
we believe that if you want to work in the drone area, you have to cover the whole development process. So I'm going to show you a few important parts of what we think is important to do a good drone system. So we design our aircraft aerodynamically to fit a mission. So we make the shape to fit the payload and to have the best performance possible for the given task. And that shape we then put into a structure which has to be designed to be stiff enough and also to be able to be manufactured in an easy way. And then we also test these whole systems. And we are quite strong in control and data fusion and have a good team on that. And we are proud to say that we only fly our own software. So it's 100% Phoenix Wings in our systems. And also we design special components like avionics systems like power supply or air data units when we have special needs to do so. And of course, to operate, we also have mission planning systems, simulation and visualization systems, and we also have our educational plans so that people that operate our systems know how they can safely operate these. And all of this we do in an iterative design process, so we do the design, validate it, and therefore we can then quite quickly adapt to new challenges and bring them into practical applications. And that is what we actually did for the Lake Kivu challenge. So what we bring here is our manta ray. That's the name of our drone, and you see it's fish-shaped for the name. We hope it's not going to swim in the lake. And it's a large volume payload and heavy lift drone. So that's some data, but this data can be adapted to the mission. So if you need longer endurance or more payload, there can be different versions to adapt to these kind of missions. And of course, it's vertical takeoff and landing. And as we do all our software on our own, it's a very efficient way of doing it. And therefore, we save energy and can fly longer missions with the same amount of batteries. And we have a modular payload bay, which is easy to swap. It automatically releases, and so you can put up to 30 liters of payload into it and just put it in the plane and then put it there and take off. And we designed our system to be quite simple. So apart from the software, we only need a ground communication system, a repeater, and we have a remote sight system for the remote operator to control if the plane is good to land or not. And what is our vision? So we see the drone cargo market worldwide. We fly in Europe, we fly in Asia, and now we come here to Africa. And we see that the regulations basically converge worldwide. And that is why we see it basically on a level playing field with Africa, probably with some benefits because you're quite straightforward in implementing the regulations. And what markets do we see actually? So primary, of course, the medical delivery, because this is what people need most urgent. But apart from that, we also see other markets like express delivery and even fresh product delivery, because that is things that people actually demand if their basic needs are satisfied. And I want to conclude with showing you our signature maneuver, which is the transition into horizontal flight. And as you see, it's quite quick and efficient. And with that, I want to end. Thank you very much for your attention, and say if you have a need in drone cargo, please challenge us.
Actually, in remote places, like in the picture, aerial services are super expensive because usually they are done by regular solutions like manned helicopters, which also implies pilot risks. At Venturi, we provide a better alternative. We provide aerial data acquisition solutions for energy industries like power utilities, oil and gas, very precise mapping services for mining, and recently medical supply services. Our solution in this last sector consists in a controlled delivery, reducing risk of damaging the cargo, comparing it to just throwing the package from the drone. We arrange partnerships with already established European companies. There's one missing, which is called Ingelsius. One is in charge of logistics, the other one, Ingelsius, is in charge of the cargo boxes. So we make sure the final solution, including all components, is compliant with international medical regulations, okay? For energy industries, our technology is a cost-effective way to acquire precise digital data, minimizing human risks. For instance, we acquire 3 types of data in power utilities. First one is high-resolution RGB images like you see in the picture. These ones are used to detect regular incidents like bird nests, damaged components, and also missing components. Secondly, we use calibrated radiometrical thermal images. These allow us to detect hotspots. That's useful to change the, to change the damaged components so we can reduce the fire risks. And last but not least, we use LiDAR sensors. This technology allows us to build a reliable digital model of the infrastructure and also allow us for a better control of the vegetation encroachment. Moving to oil and gas, we are focused in upstream, offering integrity and site development solutions like visual inspections, gas leak detection, and also digital terrain modeling. We also offer security and surveillance solutions. Our product delivers stabilized, high-definition video feedback in real time, and also it's night vision capable due to the infrared cameras. Regarding mining, we offer high-precision mapping solutions using both photogrammetry and LiDAR technology. It depends on the project requirements. So now, after all those sectors, after all those applications, let's try to answer this question. Why Venturi? Why trust in our company? So first of all, because of the platform. We use top-class materials like carbon fiber, like Kevlar, in conjunction with redundant and certified electronics and telecommunication systems. So we make sure the platform is durable and is also robust. Secondly, because customization. Thanks to our cargo capabilities, we offer a wide variety of sensors and implies a wide variety of applications, having as well the ability to adapt to new requirements. Third point is accessibility to our technology. Either if you are a big company, a government, or a small local drone operator, you can choose what suits you best. This means to buy the platform or to become a partner and rent it. Next point is processing. Processed data is the real value of aerial inspections. For this reason, apart from the drone system, we can provide also the final results. And in addition, if the project requires to deliver results in a specific format, no problem at all. We can range the required modifications. We can even provide the data integrated in a secure and encrypted data management systems if privacy is your concern. And finally, last point is legal advisory. To make sure the system is safe, we want to take part in the legal process, helping operators and also listening to local drone aviation administrations. Hopefully you understood everything, and if not, don't be shy. Just visit us at booth. It's in the foyer 1A next to the catering, and we will gladly answer all your questions. So thank you very much for your kind attention.
Today, I'm here to tell you about our company, Volans-i, and our plan to solve Africa's massive infrastructure problem. Volans-i is a leader for providing commercial delivery service to businesses using flying robots. Our drones can carry payloads of 10 pounds or more, 50 miles and beyond. And we can do this because we combine the best of aviation robotics technologies to enable hybrid, VTOL, fully autonomous platforms. And that's how we're saving our customers in the mining industry millions of dollars in downtime costs by delivering critically needed spare parts to them 5 times faster, so that they can remain productive during the times that they would have otherwise wasted waiting for ground shipments. But today I'm not here to pitch you about our technology or our business model. I'm here to talk about a problem we're all aware of, the $50 billion per year infrastructure gap in Africa, and where we see the opportunity to solve this problem using our flying robots. There are only 204 kilometers of paved roads for every 1,000 square kilometer of surface area across African nations. And as you can see on the map, there's not a lot of it. Africa's road density is 5 times less than the world average, and rail density isn't any better. As of 2019, there were only 84,000 kilometers of rail tracks across all of Africa, and many of it is in very poor conditions. That's 12 times less than the rail density in India. And by the way, building rail and road is not cheap or even fast. This 50-kilometer expressway that was built in Uganda cost the Chinese $450 million in 6 years, and that comes to an average of $9 million per kilometer. So this leaves millions of people stranded, helpless, and disconnected. So what can we do? And that's where we see the opportunity. And that's why I'm proud to say today at Volans-i announced that we are building the skylines of Africa, because we believe in a world that is physically and digitally connected, free from the limitations of infrastructure, a world full of hope. We've developed technology that's very reliable, scalable, and safe to build a network of skylines that will be also very reliable, scalable, and safe. And our goal is to build hundreds and millions of these network points throughout Africa. And building skylanes is much faster, cheaper, and simpler than building roads or rail. As a matter of fact, it only costs $1,000 per mile of skylanes that can be done in no time with little to no infrastructure required. We believe we're at the cusp of a logistics revolution, and Africa is at the forefront of this disruption. Just take a look at the rate of mobile adoption over the past 20 years in sub-Saharan African countries. And that's the same disruption we'll see in the logistics industry. So first, we're going to start out by servicing customers in the mining, agriculture, and energy industries, because we believe these are the customers who need the service and can pay for it today. Just take the mining industry, for example. There are currently 1,800 mining projects across Africa and many more underway. These are highlighted by the orange marks on this map over the next 20 years. And there's a $250 billion infrastructure gap to build rails and roads for the support of the mining industry. Once we've established skylanes along these mining industry routes, we'll expand our service to support rail, roads, and ports, connecting millions of points over bridges, over rivers, and over hills. Over the next decade, we will be building over 2 million miles of skylanes, connecting over 100 major cities and 500 million people, transporting up to 36,000 tons of cargo per year. And this will have a huge impact for Africa's industry, creating over 4 million jobs and increasing same-day availability by over 100%. And not to mention the skylanes that will be connecting to offshore locations, connecting land and sea. Skylanes will enable a new logistics revolution, and our goal is to free the world from the limitations of infrastructure. And I want to leave you with this. This is a picture of some people discovering our flying robots for the first time. We envision a future where autonomous flight will be as common and accessible to every human as mailing a letter or catching a bus. Thank you for your time.
Thank you to the teams. This competition is sounds very similar, as most of you have noticed, to the first one that we had, the emergency delivery. A question to you, Denise. What is the difference between these two cargo competitions?
Yeah, thank you for the question. They might sound very similar, but we have designed all of the competition around common use cases in Africa. And the two competitions are essentially a one-way delivery of an emergency item, and the other are a reverse logistics scenario where a drone has to be sent to a location to pick up samples or letters, etc. So the main difference here really is the interaction with the receiving client at the remote location. If you're doing an emergency delivery, you can manage the operations in a way that you limit the interaction with the drone, which can be quite dangerous, by implementing solutions. And we were interested in what has the industry come up with to handle this situation. Are people looking at, as we know, zipline, parachute options? Are we doing this with box drops or ropes and winches? So this is one competition where we're leaving it open for the industry to come up with some solutions, and we're really interested in seeing what this might look like. The sample pickup competition is different because there must be some kind of interaction on the ground, on the receiving end, because we have to load cargo onto the aircraft. And here, again, it's very interesting to see how a company is proposing to manage this process in a way that is safe and yet efficient, because eventually you might want to run a business with this kind of scenario. So to me, this is really the defining difference between the two competitions.
Thank you, Denise. Jonty, let's talk about samples for a second. How do you select the types of samples that would be used in the sample pickup to make the scenario a little bit more realistic but still interesting?
So this was really interesting because when we started speaking to what people are using at the moment to collect samples, in a lot of African countries it's blood spots on cardboard that is taken by truck or boat or however to take them to the medical thing. But with drones, you can actually take urine samples and blood samples and actually take them in a timely manner that won't degrade them and actually deliver them on time so they can actually be tested for additional diseases and additional problems. So actually then we're asking the teams to actually transport glass and plastic vials of urine, what we're making to look like urine and blood and everything like that, so that we can actually force them to look at the materials as well, how they're going to do it, but also how they load that, how they're going to make it easy. So within the competition, there's points for the amount of samples you carry, but also the process that you use to actually package that up and how it's delivered at the other end. Because if it is hugely complex, that'll take the usability down and the service delivery process down. So we're trying to make it realistic for everybody, and as Denise said, we just want the teams to come up with their own processes. Thank you. Thank
you so much, Jonty. Before the teams exit the stage, I would like to invite Rosa so she can hand out the gift bags.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, teams. Our next teams are teams that are participating in the Find and Assess competition. I would like to invite to the stage from senseFly, Robert Leek, from Hojung Solutions, Suki Andrew, from Leapr Labs, Tuyimbaze Serge, from Qlex, Imo Weiner, and Christophe Heiss, who's from Sinajidika. As they get their seats, please direct your attention to the screen so we can look at a video introducing the Find and Assess competition.
In the Find and Assess competition, teams take off from the Karongi drone port and must successfully identify the GPS locations of multiple markers on islands in Lake Kivu, then return to Karongi after completing the survey. The team who identifies the most markers in the given time frame will be the competition winners. Join us at the African African Drone Forum in Rwanda in February 2020. Are you up for the challenge?
I guess everyone now is familiar with the Ignite Talk format. We'll just give the floor to the speakers. Thank you.
Hello everyone, so my name is Robert, I'm from senseFly, and today I want to talk to you not so much about senseFly actually, but more about BV loss and why this is important, where we're at today, what we're doing today, what we're doing in the future, and of course how we're going to get there. As this is becoming more and more important and we're seeing our customers already using the BV loss operations, I want to talk about a couple of examples first. So in 2018, Hurricane Florence hit the east coast of the United States. It was one of the worst and wettest hurricanes that hit North Carolina, and actually this basically closed down the whole state. It was made worse by previous flooding that they'd had over the previous weeks, and they had over 2,200 roads that had to be closed. Major interstate sections were completely flooded, and the North Carolina Department of Transport actually asked people to completely avoid the state, just because it was such a dramatic issue. So the rivers were rising for several days after the actual rain event. The interstate needed significant cleanup efforts, and agricultural environmental issues were well known, but it was almost impossible for them to get an overview and understand how much damage had been done and how best to handle this. So they called us, senseFly, up, along with a few other drone operators, and they asked for our help. We were given a small section, about 5 kilometers of road that we needed to survey, and because being 5 kilometers, this was necessarily beyond visual line of sight. So we operated under the certificate of authorization provided by them. We were on site for around 1.5 hours, and in that 1.5 hours, we took just over 2,000 photos, and we were able to process all of that data and deliver it to them within 24 hours. This is significantly faster than the alternative methods that they had been investigating. From the data that we and others provided, they were able to assess the damage at over $25 billion. Over 3,000 sites just in North Carolina needed repairs, and over $1 billion of damage was caused to environmental and agricultural areas. Another application that we had was a similar case in Canada, where there was a water treatment plant that had just undergone some renovations. So they asked us to come and help them evaluate the effects of those updates. But of course, there were some significant constraints on how they could capture that data. They really needed visual thermal data to understand the water that they were putting back into the river. But normally they do this by just capturing water samples, and it's not very efficient. It's very difficult for them to visualize and understand that data well. Unfortunately, just before we arrived, there was another significant rain event, and this ended up overflowing and flooding the river. There was a tripling of the flow rate of this particular river, and this made the effects completely unknown, not only from the perspective of what this was doing to the river, but also how to affect the management. So we were asked to cover around 8 kilometers of river. This required us to do around 100 kilometers of actual flying, and we took over 5,000 images between the RGB imagery and the thermal imagery. After we provided all of that data to them, they were able to identify a new thermal hot spring that they actually weren't aware of within the river. This allows them to update their models and to understand better the effects that this hot spring are providing on the rest of the river, which was previously affecting their data capture. As well as this, it allowed them to have a full 3D data set which they used to update their models. They didn't have good GIS data for this particular area. It allowed them to be much more reactive, and it was just significantly faster and easier than the alternative methods that they had previously had to use. So why does all of this matter? Well, to me, the point is that the future of drones is BV loss. We are becoming more and more capable. We're making more and more exciting drones. All of us are, and we're seeing the markets adopt these new and exciting technologies. But of course, a lot of these applications are BV loss. We're seeing applications like emergency aid and data capture, human transport, and delivery drones. You've heard from several people just today, and you can see them out in the hall. These are real live applications that are existing today, and these are all necessarily BV loss. So what do the drone manufacturers need to do? Well, from our side, we need to be very thoughtful about what we're doing. It's very easy to get excited by all of this, but we need to think about what people are actually going to be doing and how they're going to be interacting with these applications. So we need to think about that technology as we build it. It's also up to us to be responsible, right? We have to be educating not only the general public, but also the regulators. We have to make sure that we're being responsible with our marketing. As I said, it's exciting. We all want to push and say how amazing our new technology is. But if we're encouraging people to be irresponsible, then it's not a sustainable industry. As for drone operators themselves, well, it's similar. They still have public education. They need to be interacting with the public, operating safely, of course. But this drones for good idea is really something that's critical, I think. It's allowing the drone operators to show people the benefits and why this is actually relevant and important. They also need to be pushing this industry forward. They need to be creative for looking for new applications. They need to be talking to the manufacturers and talking to the regulators to help push forward and see what can be done, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, and really just help build that future. As for the regulators, well, this is kind of the hardest one because they need to be forward-thinking, they need to be involved with the technology, they need to be talking to the operators and the manufacturers to understand that. But they need to set challenging goals and be realistic about what can be done and make sure that we're being responsible as we build this future.
Hojung Solutions is a company from South Korea, a country known for its fast economic development, a tech powerhouse like the name of Samsung, Tucson, known for good food and traditional culture, yet also hip music like BTS. Hojung Solutions started as a land survey company, but leveraging from its deep knowledge of geodetics, we quickly transformed to a modern survey company using drones to deliver massive and accurate geodetic data. As well as, ever since then, for 8 years, our focus and passion has been all about UAV applications from systems, consulting services, cadastral survey, and GIS services. But our strength and capacity is the result of utilizing one of the most sophisticated fixed-wing platform in the class, designed and made by Yukon System from Korea. The Remo-M offers exceptional endurance, superior telemetry, intuitive user interface, as well as versatility with mission types with wide range of sensor options that can be switched easily and quickly. One of the most advanced features of the Remo-M is its takeoff and landing. Its fast climb and deep stall allows the Remo to operate in small spaces, which creates the ability to conduct missions in all types of terrain without the need of long runways. The mass acquisition of data is meaningless without the advanced capability to process the data for useful and valuable purpose, such as 3D mapping, crop monitoring, river waterway information, and corridor mapping. Hojung is supported with specialized software engineer gurus with deep experience to produce useful and accurate delivery products, and they are humans, but they work like monsters. Land management is a fundamental topic in the economic development process. Hojung drone-based technology has helped address these issues globally, like land tenure, land disputes, zoning planning, urban sprawls, property taxation through efficient cadastral system. For example, in Tanzania, the local government was seeking to achieve efficiency in creating cadastral system because land surveying was not only slow but inaccurate. UAV imaging and digitized processing offer reduction in time measured in months that was completed with accuracy by UAV teams of 4 instead of massive mobilization of multiple survey teams. The issue in Tunisia, sorry, I'm jumping ahead here. In PNG, the issue was different. The issue needing to be addressed was a problem with waterways in a region with frequent flooding. This was a critical information for planners to begin planning the Mandang city. Accurate aerial imaging solution was able to pick up water flows and elevations, but the real solution in this case was the ability for drones to survey customary land where it wasn't accessible by ground and it was very dangerous to go in. The issue in Tunisia project was the opposite, too little water, especially in our plantation areas, which is critical component for the Tunisian agricultural export. And the objective of this mission was to correlate these zones to track water and nutrient absorption. This information will provide policymakers to better design irrigation. Hojung is honored to be among superior fellow drone companies in this event that consider safety to be important in all aspects of drone manufacturing and operation. And in this respect, we are very fortunate to have many CAA officials for all to share our stories. With safety first in mind, Hojung will continue to focus in our value proposition to provide innovation persistent towards practical needs of customer and mindful and respectful. So why are we here at ADF? The quote that says, "We believe Hojung's technology can play a vital role in improving the lives of people in hard-to-reach areas, increasing resilience and significant socioeconomic benefits." Indeed, we believe Hojung technology and experience is worth sharing, and ADF has offered a perfect platform to deliver our message. We thank you, the audience, participants, organizers, and volunteers.
Thank you. I'm Sales Twimbers from Leapr Labs. Young innovators like Keza needs an environment where to apply their imagination building drones. Leapr Labs helps them to learn, build, and deploy solutions. Here's a video on how we run programs. Leapr Labs is a deep tech ideation stage innovation and research labs. We help scientists, technologists, as well as entrepreneurs to learn, build, and develop solutions for Africa's biggest challenges. We invite mentors, different industry partners to come in the lab and partner with us to share knowledge, and later we have young people who are able to build solutions.
My name is Denise, and I was a fellow in the first season of Flying Competitions Scholarship, and right now I'm a facilitator in the coming season of Flying Competitions Scholarship.
After building their projects, then we can help them turn the projects into product. Here is Juru Systems. It's one of the startups that we have in our labs. It's focusing on aerospace and robotics, and this is co-founded with our young innovators. We are trying to see how we can use autonomous systems and embedded systems for high performance to serve different applications that are also serving global goals for sustainable development. We have different key activities. We know we have huge young talents, and we want them to contribute to building drones and manufacturing drones in Africa and by Africans. And we also want to center our technology on the needs that are around us, because technologies that are not serving real needs will be useless. So we want to build human-centered solutions. We also not intending to build solutions that are going to serve only locals. We are targeting to scale globally. Leapr Labs has traction so far. We have created around 100 opportunities for young people, but we do this because we have partnerships. We partner with different industry partners, research partners, academias. We do this to make sure that we make impact. In Lake Kivu Challenge, we're going to do mission and use raw data from one company, Qlex, and we apply our image analysis techniques. Using our artificial intelligence algorithms, we'll be able to identify the targets that will be in the image, and also be able to specify the locations, the precise locations for the targets. Our next steps as Leapr Labs, we want to keep contributing to work efficiency, as this will be helping us to attract more investments. And as this makes a loop, it will contribute to our global sustainable development and economic growth. We have a good team, young people and old people, locals and internationals, and this synergy makes us strong. We have different partners. In the room, you have heard of Wingcopter. They are one of our partners, Chemnitz University of Technology, and our local institutions. Thank you very much.
Welcome everybody. Thank you to be here with us today in the Kigali Convention Center. It's a real pleasure to be here in Rwanda, and therefore we want to thank the government of Rwanda, the World Bank, and the World Economic Forum for hosting this event. My name is Immo Weidner, and I'm the managing director of Qlex. And here, please meet the Qlex Creo. It's an outstanding, it's a VTOL drone with an outstanding flight performance. With its class-leading flight characteristics, we achieve up to 300 kilometers distance and in a time of 5 hours. And with its also it's highly robust with its innovative carbon. I'm sorry.
Extremely silent.
Yeah, it's extremely silent due to its electrical propulsion system and its customized propellers. And then we also did some amazing projects with it. We climbed up to 2,900 meters and collected meteorological data. And we also had to do emergency descent during that.
So 5 hours of flight time, that sounds really great and really impressive. So Qlex developed this powerful and beautiful unmanned aerial system. In our opinion, Creo and comparable electrical-driven unmanned aerial systems are key innovation. And so-called key innovations enables new solutions. But where should be the focus of interacting with such a new technology? For us, it leads to two questions. Do we have to use commercial off-the-shelf products, or should we develop technologies on our own through our passion for aeronautical engineering? So not only it is for you not a new information so that unmanned aerial systems can fly, or most of them, the focus should be something further. Therefore, the focus of our actions is the creation of value for human beings and the environment. And we all here think that unmanned aerial systems can make things easier and hopefully better. But we are in a complex scenario. Regulation and also market dynamics and also technology integrations are relevant to know. Therefore, it is important to stay focused again, at first on the technology side, and second to see the bigger picture of value creation. We think it is necessary to work together with complementary partners. For this reason, we are here as a Team Qlex from Germany. Team Qlex is a constellation of 3 companies. Each partner contributes its core value. Qlex, with this powerful unmanned aerial system, my team from Synergeticon provides expertise in data analysis. Our technology platforms, for instance, make work on the shop floor easier, enhance performance and also motivation. Our customers are in the aviation sector, and we develop solutions for Airbus and Lufthansa Technik. We both work also together with Alldots. Alldots is an integrator for transferring unmanned aerial system technology into market demands. We, Alldots, Qlex and Synergeticon, work together.
We are here as a team to support the idea of the African Drone Forum to solve infrastructural challenges in Rwanda and all of Africa. It is a pleasure to be part of this bigger picture. The focus of our solution is the reliable and fast provision of vital information. This requires an efficient process of data acquisition to evaluation using mapping and image processing. The task requires the integration of two key solutions. Qlex can map large areas from a single drone port. Synergeticon provides data evaluation based on AI technologies, which improve with every flight. The Lake Kivu challenge provides a great opportunity for us, and it helps to find out where support is needed most and demonstrates the current state of drone tech. So I would like to thank you for your attention, and if you are interested in our technology, please come visit us at our booth.
Well done.
Thank you, teams. As we saw in the introductory video, contestants will successfully identify coordinates of both land-based and water-based targets. You know, this sounds like they're going to be collecting a lot of data. And I want to ask you, Denise, we know data acquisition and collection presents the largest share of drone market in Africa, all over the world, actually. We know mapping projects across Africa are very common. How do you push these capabilities to the next level?
Yeah, with all of these, we heard already that some people have said that BVLOS is the future of drones. All of our competitions are designed to be BVLOS, as well as, of course, the data acquisition competition. And so the challenge here is to demonstrate safe operations BVLOS. The other two areas where we're trying to push the envelope actually have to do with the data that's being collected, because that, in the end, is the reason why we are conducting these flights. And what we're looking for is then speed and accuracy. And we're challenging teams to do it fast because we have modeled this around an emergency data acquisition scenario. The third challenge has to do with the systems being dynamic and able to work with different types of data. So we have designed this competition to be both flying over landmass and water-based targets, which in the past has been difficult for some systems, but we're trying to see if the industry has caught up and is able to handle this.
Thank you, Denise. A question to you, Jonty. We know in this competition there are two types of targets. How are you scoring these different types of targets and validating the results?
Yeah, so it was quite an interesting concept to have land and water-based targets. With land-based targets, it's quite easy. You can go there with a GPS target, and then you can get GPS accuracy down to 2 centimeters. And so if with the team, with the scoring structure, if the team gets a certain number of points, if they're within 5 meters of the target we've designed, or if they're within 10 centimeters, they get triple the amount of score. But with water targets, there's an element of we're anchoring our boats, but they still may move slightly. So how do we give the teams a realistic chance of being able to map them? And so we've actually got GPS data loggers that are going to be mounted at the center of the boats so that we know where they are at all times. And then the teams are going to be able to score on rings of 20 meters if they can accurately define where the boat is, but if they can get it down to 5 meters, then we can triple the scores. So we're trying to make it fair with the different technologies, because all the teams here are using slightly different technologies. The boats aren't something that it's quite easy to educate the AI or any machine learning algorithm, where the markers we're using, which are standard red and white square markers, that's something you could train into your system. So it's something that the teams are actually going to have to work on, and they're actually going to have to do that. And each flight will be a separate data set flight. So they're not learning with each flight. Each flight is its own data set, and we're trying to be fair to all the different participants. So hopefully that explains, and if anybody's got any questions, please come and talk to me and Denise about the competitions. We've been working on it for quite a long time, and we hopefully have designed something that's fair to everybody.
Thank you, Jonty. That sounds very exciting. I would like to invite Rosa, before we exit the stage, to give gift bags to everyone on stage. Well, thank you to Jonty, thank you, Denise, thank you to the teams, all the teams, this round of teams and the teams that came before them. And a very big thank you to the audience for being a part of this session. Thank you so much.